What's up, y'all? It's your boy JJ Fitman, and I'm back again with another video, y'all. And today we are on day 2 of my weekly workout series aimed at increasing my vertical. And so we're actually at the rec center today, and we got some weightlifting to get done. Like I said, I'm a power jumper, 2-foot jumper. So we're doing a plethora of different exercises. Got some power cleans going, got some hand cleans, got some squats, some Nordics, a bunch of different exercises. So make sure that y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm taking y'all on this journey with me, and y'all see the results, because the work is going to be consistently put in. At the beginning of my journey, I was dealing with a lot of just minor injuries that kind of kept me from stringing weeks together, stringing training sessions together, and progressing like in my program for my vert training. But now we're feeling good, we're feeling healthy, and so now we're really going to drive the volume and drive the work so we can get this vertical. Like I said, we are going to be 2-hand jamming here within a few months. So make sure y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe. I will see y'all when we get in there. Let's freaking work, y'all. Here comes the work. All right, y'all, we getting into it here. Again, I start out all my workouts with isometrics, holding out that knee a little bit less than fully held out, a little bit less than fully extended, 45 seconds each side. I did 4 rounds of it. I'm only going to show y'all 1 round like I always do, but make sure you're doing your isometrics for quad tendon strength and knee health. Is vitally important if you're going to be doing any type of training like jumping, heavy weightlifting, things where your joints and knees are under high impact, high stress. You need to make sure that you're doing the isometrics to support. So let's get into it. I'll show y'all 45 seconds aside.
Sometimes progress is the W. Like maintaining in some seasons is winning. This has been my big focus right now. And I'm not the first person to say this, but just winning the day. And Bill Ackman had this hard season where he was getting divorced. He just lost $4 billion. And he was not him today. He was earlier on his career. So, I mean, it was just the worst. And it was just a terrible slog. And he said one of the difficult parts about that period is that there was no one thing that was like, oh, I can tackle this today. Like you're not going to finish the divorce today. You're not going to undo the $4 billion loss today. And so it's like when you have these larger, more complex negative things that do scale, it's like, how do you navigate through that? And for anyone who's listening right now, it's like, maybe it's the bad breakup, maybe it's or maybe you're getting divorced, right? Or maybe it's like the business isn't working the way you want. It's like, and there's like 10 things that you have to fix. And so he had this very tactical advice, which I liked a lot, which is he just tried to make progress, and that was it. And he said, you know, in a day, it's almost negligible, right? But at 30 days, you're like, okay, I moved this. And at 90, you're like, wow. Does this mean that our mood is still being dictated by circumstance? Yes, I'll be honest. Yes, it does. But I think many of us have this ideal. We'd love to be in a great mood in the absence of things to be in a great mood about. But I had this one great podcast today. I'm going to make that thing the thing that's making this a great day. And then if I can make that great day, then maybe it could be a great week.
All right, we got 3 more sets to do. I'm going to do them off camera, and I'll get y'all giving back to those dynamic warm-ups. See y'all in a minute. Dynamic warm-up time. Let's get warmed up, ready to go before we actually get to the workout. I do all these warm-ups to really make sure my body's primed and ready to go before I actually start getting into the intensity of the workout. You just want to make sure that you're ready, and that's going to go a long way in preventing injury. Getting your core body temperature up and making sure your body's warm before you actually start working out. So let's get to it.
And then trying to expand those, basically like let those good moments eat up the season in actively trying to minimize all the down things and super focus on those moments and be like, cool, I had that good moment, that's my day, day's made. And I'm trying to even say that more. Basically, I've had to recalibrate my entire scale to how little of a thing can happen that makes my day, how little of a thing can happen that makes my week, how little of a thing can make my month. How crazy would it be if a year from now I say, that was a great year. I'm putting a huge amount of my discretionary effort into this because it's my belief that right now, what will prevent me from achieving my ultimate goals, because that motherfucker's not gone, is running out of steam because I don't need to do this. Like, I don't need to work this hard. I'd prefer to make the ride more enjoyable.
Realize it never mattered to begin with. What's that?
If you want it all, life will give you nothing. We're willing to sacrifice everything that we have for the thing that we want. And then once we get the thing that we want back the things that we sacrificed, which really just goes to the heart of the human condition, which is we want it all. And we're not willing to make trades. And so one of the reasons that I've actually, I would say, largely tossed out the deathbed regrets of most people is that what they do typically is they will have the bias of wanting the other path they could have taken without considering the cost of that path. So they say, hey, I was really successful and I did all these things, but I would give it all up today to have my family. It's like, well, yeah, but you didn't, because you actually chose the path that you're on and you weren't willing to do that. But what you are saying right now is that you want it all. Sure, so does everyone. And so I've had a few moments of clarity over the last year or so, but we want everything without the cost, and everything has a price, and you will never be able to get the sufficient price tag paid on everything to achieve a modicum of success in any domain unless you are willing to trade from another. And I think that has significantly minimized my regret.
We give up our 20s for our 30s. We give up our 30s for our 40s for our 50s, and we trade everything we achieved in our 30s, 40s, and 50s to get back to our 20s.
We give up the thing we have most of for the thing that we have least of.
And we give up the thing that we want for the thing that's supposed to get it. I will become happy when I'm sufficiently successful, and I will sacrifice my happiness in pursuit of success so that I can become sufficiently successful so I can finally be happy. We spend our 20s wanting to be richer and older and have a family, then we start that in our 30s and we gain more wealth and do the family thing, and then we get to our 40s and we've got more responsibilities, we've accumulated all of this stuff, and then we think, God, if only I could go back to my 20s. But you were fucking miserable in your 20s. You hated it. You had no idea whether you were going to be successful. You were constantly concerned about money. You were desperately needing validation from all of these people around you. You were permanently in dissatisfaction about this stuff.
We already know how the movie ends when we go back and say we want to relive it. And you can't relive it in the same context because uncertainty is the largest part of the story.
Perhaps golden years can only happen in our memory. Nobody believes that we're living through a golden era right now.
We never think we're in the good old days. But the good old days are always now. I have spent a huge amount of mental resources accepting suffering and not saying that there's something wrong with something bad. Like a huge amount of mental resources go into this because I've been better and faster at correcting the loop of like, oh, I am not happy with this particular thing, and therefore there's something wrong.
Yeah, so fix the story that I tell myself as opposed to fix the thing.
And that's been super helpful with the addition of everything that I remember will always be better than it was. And the nice thing is that there's tons of science that backs this up, which is that we learn through reward and punishment. Punishment fades with time, no matter how bad it was. Like, you get drunk, you get hungover, you say, I'll never drink again. 7 days later, you're out drinking again. Why? The punishment of the hangover fades quickly. You are with somebody for a while, you're like, this bitch is crazy, or this guy is crazy, and then you break up, and then all of a sudden, what do you remember? The good times. Because reward sticks. And in some ways, there's a little bit of a hopeful message there, which is that when you look back on your life, you will disproportionately remember the good times, but it only becomes a problem if you lament the present, which is the only thing you've ever actually lived in. When I think about a business and I want to grow it, for example, I would think, okay, what are all the things that can destroy this business? And this is Charlie Munger, this isn't me. But basically, he says, invert, always invert. And Einstein said that too. And
You got an entire assembly line of kids raised on the simulator.
No, I don't have time for some kid to learn how to come in 10th. I don't.
Because like you get to use this way stronger horsepower engine of like, how do I grow my business? That's you can obviously think that way, but the alternative would be like, how would I absolutely destroy this business in the fewest possible moves? And then when you list.
All right, y'all, that completely dynamic warm up. Now we're gonna get to the barbell warm up. See y'all in a minute. All right, y'all, we're gonna get to the barbell warm up now. So we've got, 6 different exercises that we're gonna do for 5 reps each. Overhead press, front squat, back squat, hang clean, hang snatch, overhead squat. Each is gonna be 5 reps. We're gonna do 3 total rounds of that. So I'm gonna do 1 round, take a 30-second break, do it again. on repeat. Good way to warm up and make sure the body is primed and ready to go before you actually get into your workout. So let's get with it, y'all.
Out those moves, you're like, cool. Now let's do the opposite of that. Yeah. And that has been, honestly, some of the sources of my greatest kind of creative moments have come from these apparently obvious things that would kill us. Well, what if we did the even more obvious thing and did the opposite of what would destroy us? And it's worked better than I deserve.
Figure out what you want. Ignore the opinions of others. Do so much work, it would be unreasonable that you fail. Realize it never mattered to begin with. Help others once you get there. You've already achieved the things you said would make you successful.
Yeah, the first 5 steps there is is basically my master life plan. I had a pretty terrible first out of college experience of work, but from that I learned some of the most important life lessons that I still take to this day. And that boss particularly said one thing to me one day. She said, figuring out what you want is 99% of it. She said, once you know what you want, getting it's the easy part. And I kind of adopted that as a worldview, because it's like, once you're really clear, like this is what I want, then everything that's not that is what I'm willing to give up to get it. Now, that thing can change. And I think that's the part that people miss. And I think we should all have permission to change what we want in any given moment, and not having basically sunk life bias of like, I put 10 years into this thing and that's okay. And that's what I needed to do at that time. And today I'm going to change everything. It's been super helpful for me to not think of my changes as permanent, because it's allowed me to make such dramatic changes in my life or my business much faster than I think most people have been willing to, because there's this weight of forever on top of everything. Like, I can do this for today, and tomorrow, if it still works, I will do it for tomorrow. And if 5 days from now or 25 days from now, if I work this way, I then say, you know what, I need a day. People are like, oh, he's burned out. It's like, I took a day because that's what I needed that day. And I think giving myself permission to have that freedom has allowed me to take significantly faster action, because who am I apologizing to? One of my themes this year has been focusing on moments, and on both the positive and the negative. And so, like, if I think back on last year, right, I don't remember probably 95% of the year. Like, I did the same things. And so it's like, it just didn't get recorded. Like, nothing notable happened. And so really, like, when we think about a year, we really just recall a handful of moments, and that's it. And those moments in time are usually very short. And so I've been trying to think about the bad, seasons as, well, maybe it wasn't a bad season. Maybe I had 5 bad days, or really 5 bad moments that I then thought about for the entire season, and turned what would have otherwise been 5 minutes times 5 into an entirely bad year. It's like, okay, well, if we can do that in the negative, can we do in the positive, which is, obviously the thing to exercise. I thought about that. It's like, if I were to boil everything down, of all the skills that you can learn, if everything that we do eventually becomes irrelevant, then the single greatest skill that you can develop is being in a great mood in the absence of things to be in a great mood about. Most people don't question someone who's in a bad mood. Like, I'm just in a bad mood. So it's like, well, if you can be in a bad mood for no reason, it's like, you might as well be in a good mood for no reason, because that one at least serves you. And so I've been trying to exercise, like, because there's, on one degree, there's like, let's count things to be grateful for. On the other side, it's like, why do I have to have things to be grateful for in order to be in a good mood? Like, why is trying to find things a requirement of being in that mood? Like, can I not find things and still choose to be in a good mood? Because I've certainly not had things to be in a bad mood about and been in a bad mood. And so I've been trying to flex that, which is like, sure, we can find things to be grateful for, and when those things pop up, yes, and of course it's a practice, you get better at it, but like, what if I can just be in a good mood? And so I've just tried to break that relationship between the two, because then it makes it contingent on.
Woo. All right, done with the warm up. We got hang cleans. Next, boost the power. So I'll see y'all in a minute. Here we go. Woo. Woo. All right, y'all. We got hang cleans now. So we're doing 3 sets of 2 at 65% of my max. My max is 215. So 65% is right at 140. And so we're about to get right into it, man. 2 reps, real quick. Trying to get under that bar as quick as I can. I'm doing a 30-second pause at the bottom. Just pausing it nice and low for 3 seconds and then exploding up. So let's go right to it.
Something that I can find. To take this to the absolute extreme, why should I be grateful? Why should I be happy? Why do I demand of my life that I must be happy during it? I think it comes down to, I used the word control before. Basically, if you can predict, it means you can control. But if you can predict what's going to happen, it means that you know what the variables are and you can influence those variables, which you can influence the outcome. We have a set of behaviors or skills that will increase the likelihood of goal achievement, whatever that goal is. Being spiritual, being a good husband.
Round number 2, 2 reps. Here we go.
Whatever it is. These behaviors will do that. To increase the likelihood of me doing these behaviors, then I have to have more good stuff, less bad stuff. I will down that hill. Beyond that, what does anything that happened prior to this matter at all, insofar as it only works if I can use that same variable and then use it again to change my behavior yet again to be
All right, round number 3, 2 reps.
conducive to the goal.
Expectation of life is that it's going to be until I make the $1 billion, until I get married to the love of my life, until I get these things. You're just holding your happiness hostage until something great happens. What if something small could be something great?
Same old phone? Nah. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7.
With Chewy, get their mealtime match delivered fast. Max loves kibble. Milo.
All right, y'all. We got 3 more sets of ankling, I believe. Now we're going up to 70%. So, yeah, I'm gonna do 2 reps. Well, actually, I'm gonna do the first one still at 65%. And the last one I'm going up to 70%. So 70% of my max, let's see, right at 150. So I'm at 140 right now, so we're gonna put 10 more pounds on there. It's 150. But the next round, we're gonna stay here. So we're gonna take a 30-second break. Get right into it, baby. All right, here we go. Last set at 140. Here we go, yo.
People only root for others at 2 times. First, when they're at the beginning of the race. Second, when they finish. Neither is when you need it. So, you have to master the middle. The boring, exhausting, soul-crushing middle. That's where the winning happens, on your own. People will only cheer for you as long as you can't beat them at the game they value most. Friendly reminder that every person who doubts you is right until they aren't. It's a bug.
All right. Now we're gonna jump up to 150. So go at a 5 on each side. Get up to 150. Let's get to work. All right, y'all, we're up to 150 now. We got 3 sets, 2 reps each. Let's get to work, man. Here we go.
Not a feature.
You know, at the very, very beginning, people say, you know, I'm really excited for you that you're trying this thing out, right? And I noticed that everyone was very happy for me to try because I temporarily decreased my status. I actually became worse than them during that period of time. And then as soon as I achieved a level of success, which I then realized that their happiness for me was proportional to where they were on the ladder relative to me. And so as soon as I passed some people, then they stopped being happy and then they start, you know, saying bad things, right?
All right, y'all. That's 1 round down. We got 2 more to go, so I'm gonna take a 30-second break, get right to it. Producing all the force in here today, y'all. That's the point of the pause at the bottom, just trying to produce as much force as possible to translate to jump. Take that 30-second break, get back right to it. Go, y'all. Round number 2 is 150. Let's get to it, 2 reps.
And the people who were still always ahead were still like, keep it up, keep it up. And there's still people who have been that way my whole life. And I just wonder if and when I pass them, will they flip? I don't know. But also to the same degree, it was after you start the race, when you're in the thick of it, because you'll quickly pass the people who've done nothing. But then you have this long period of time where you don't catch up to the people who've been doing it for a long time. And that's the part where it's very lonely because you don't have your initial posse. You have to leave them at some point.
Y'all, last set right here, 30-second break, and we're gonna finish our anklings. We got power cleanup coming next. All right, y'all, last set right here, Let's finish it out strong. Here we go. Let's finish strong.
But then you don't get to the new group that's, you know, way ahead and actually has some proof behind them that you can actually like sit at the table. And so like today, if I were to do something, I have tons of support. But I don't really need the support now. I needed it in the middle, right? In the many years that like no one knew who Alex Hormozi was. And that's the hard.
All right, so that's it for hang clean. We're gonna move on to power clean now. I'll see y'all when we get the weights set up. Whew. All these clean movements are so important when it comes to translation to jumping, because like when you're a 2-foot jumper like me, power is what you need. So producing force power, removing the weight as quickly as we can here, getting in an explosive position. Y'all see the squat position I'm in? It's like a quarter squat, so that's how you're gonna jump. We want power in that position. But I'll see y'all in a minute, that's enough yapping. All right, y'all, so we got power cleans now. So we're about to do, I believe it's 3 sets of 3. Yeah, we're doing 3 sets of 3. So my first set, so my last 2 sets are gonna be at 80% of my max. My power clean max is 225. So 80% will be 180. But the first set, we're not at 80% yet. So I'm at 175. It's basically almost the same weight. Goal is to get as much power off the floor as possible. We're going full on clean. We got 3 reps of it, so let's get to work, y'all.
Part. And I think it's the story that Morgan Housel tells, which is that you just don't know how it's going to finish. And that's what makes it hard. It's the uncertainty of like, what if I give up everything that I've done in my life for nothing? And then all of a sudden, if I knew that, then I wouldn't be willing to make this trade. But in retrospect, when you do have the thing, you're like, of course I was, like, if I knew that this was going to happen, I would happily make the trade.
Yeah.
But you don't know. And so you're just putting the...
All right, that's 3 reps. Take a 30-second break, then we'll walk up. We're just adding a 2.5 on each side to get 5 more pounds, get up to 180. So I'm gonna add that, take a 30-second break. Power, power, power off that floor, baby, let's go. All right, y'all, 180 on the bar, 3 reps. Let's get to work round number 2.
Money down and they're rolling it, but you get to find out if you hit black 5 years from now.
It's why dealing with uncertainty is such a meta skill, and it's one that to be honest, it's one that I really suck at. I'm very, very not good at dealing with uncertainty. My required line of assurance in order for me to commit to a decision is incredibly high, which is why I've basically...
All right, that's 3 reps done, y'all. Got 1 more set of that, and then we're done. One thing that you want to keep in mind with clean form, make sure y'all, when y'all are bringing the bar up, keep it as close to your body as possible before you turn it over. You don't want it to get out here. Then you won't be able to catch the clean. So there you go. When it comes to power position, anytime you're in a power position, you want to keep the bar close. Same thing goes for with jumping. If you're jumping with the ball, keep the ball as close to your body as you can. The further things get away from your body, the less control you have. So keep that bar close. And then you're aiming for like your neck. So I rack the bar on my neck and I let it fall into my fingers here. You know what I mean? Because if it falls on my hand, it hurts, right? There's bones, it's not as flexible. But if it falls on my fingers, I can catch. So that's my TED Talk for today. But 30-second break. We're gonna finish this last set of power clean. Last set right here, power clean. 3 reps. Let's get it done.
Never failed at anything that I've done. All of the stuff that I've done, a string of incredibly slow but very reliable successes, is just because my required number of sort of justification points is very high. And you know, in retrospect, it might look like it was a risk, but it's like, dude, I took so long to fucking make this decision. On the friend point, it's a painful realization that the small number of good friends want you to win in case you take them with you.
That's it for power clean. Whew, let's get to the barbell squats now. Let's go. All right, y'all, so now we're at the barbell squats. So for the working sets, we're gonna do 5 sets of 3. The last 2 sets are gonna be at 70% of my squat max. And remember, we're doing a 3-second pause at the bottom of the squat. That's just in the programming this cycle. Then we're driving up as hard as we can, as quick as we can out of it. So we're gonna start with just the bar, warm up, get about 5 reps. Goal is to do 3 warm-up sets. So let's get to it. Here we go.
A large number of bad friends are scared of you winning in case you leave them behind.
The best way to know who a real friend is how they react when you win. And when that happens, you'll realize how few real friends you really have. Many people were like, sure, like good luck with that. But I knew that they just weren't really rooting for me. They were rooting for me to fail. They were rooting for me the wrong way. One of my rules is you should only
All right, let's get 135 on the bar. Let's get with it.
take advice from people whose dreams for your life are bigger than yours are, which is a very small number of people. Sometimes it's your parents. Sometimes your parents really do have bigger dreams for you than you do. The people who are closest to you in the beginning, if they're like true, like actual friends, then you recognize that because they actually want you to win. And that's amazing. A lot of people don't have that. And so.
All right, now I'm gonna add a 25 on each side, get 185 on the bar. This will be the last warm-up set before we actually get to the real working sets. All right, here we go. Last warm-up set.
What I have felt, at least for me, was that when you're a little ahead is where the friction is. When you blow them out of the water and there's no question, like it's beyond reproach, they will do one of two things. They will either be really happy for you or they'll change the game that they're beating you at. That's great, but I'm in better shape. That's great, but my marriage is better, right? Like, or whatever, whatever game that they choose to play. People who doubt you will be right most of the time.
That's our last warm-up set. Now we're gonna actually get into the actual working set. So the first set, I'm gonna have 205 on the bar. Yeah, 205. So we're gonna exchange that 25 for 35, so I have 45, 35 on each side. Get us up to 205, 3 reps, 3-second pause at the bottom. Let's eat. All right, round number 1, 3 reps, 3-second pause at the bottom of the rep. Ooh, let's get with it, baby. Here we go. All right, right to it.
And this further increases your uncertainty about the path that you're choosing to take. But on a long enough time horizon, most people who don't bet are guaranteed to lose. And so they get to win at being right more times than you get to win at being right. But what that equation doesn't take into consideration is intensity, which is, can I be so right?
All right, 1 set done. We're gonna walk up to 215 next. So I'm gonna take about a minute break and then we're gonna walk to 215. So I'll see y'all in a minute. All right, y'all, we got 215 on the board now. 3 reps, 3-second pause. All right, let's go.
Right one time, that it makes all of the times that I was wrong irrelevant. And in the nature of life, the answer is yes, almost a resounding yes for just about every domain. Like, everyone can say that every person you've ever dated has sucked, and they can predict that you're going to break up until you find the person that you're going to marry. And in that moment, who fucking cares about the other 90 people that you went on dates with, or that everybody said was a bad idea, or that you have a bad picker, or you don't have a good taste? It's like, well, you're not marrying them. I date in a way that's different than you would prefer. Great, but I did end up finding this thing. The first thing that I ever.
All right, round 2 done. On to round 3. Moved up to 225 this time. We'll take a minute break. See y'all in a minute. All right, y'all. Round number 3. 225 on the bar. 3-second pause. Let's roll.
Did was an online fitness thing, and it kind of worked. And then I did my first gym, and it kind of worked. And then I started all these other side projects. I got distracted, and I didn't know. And the downside risk is significantly smaller and more frequent. It's both. You're more likely to lose, and it's more likely to happen more times. It's just that upside is uncapped. And I think about this one a lot. So there's this story of the guy. Do you know the guy who wrote Jingle Bells?
No.
So.
All right, y'all. 225. Knocked out with a 3-second pause. Now we're gonna walk up to 235. We're gonna finish the last 2 sets at 235. So this is where we need to be at. It's 70%. So take a minute break. Catch y'all in a minute, baby. Let's work. All right, y'all, we got 235 on the bar now. Last 2 sets are gonna be at 235, so 3 reps, 3-second pause. Let's get to work.
I didn't even know that was. I thought it was like happy birthday. I thought he was just gifted to humanity when we started.
So there's this guy. He has the most tragic life you can imagine. Just like did nothing but failed. Was a failed everything, and his entire life was nothing. He just happened to write this small thing called Jingle Bells, and it has become, the #1 song at Christmas time, like maybe globally. And I think about that life where it's like, what if I failed at everything, but then I have one thing that actually makes a permanent impact? I was like, would I trade that life?
All right, y'all. 1 minute break, and we're gonna finish the last set up. So, see y'all in a minute, baby. All right, y'all, last set. Set number 5. Let's finish it out. Here we go.
For Aristotle's good life, where I amount to nothing, but the whole time was good. And this is just one of my eternal battles where I think with myself that I have no answer for, to be clear. But when I'm thinking through the periods where things suck, I'm like, well, maybe I'll get a Jingle Bells out of this. Mm-hmm. And maybe it'll just take 20 years longer than I thought. So not taking the shot is like saying, life, I don't want to scratch off this lottery ticket, but the lottery ticket's free. Yep. Why would you not scratch it off and try it? Whatever reasons that we usually give ourselves in the beginning for why we can't achieve something, you can almost always find not only just someone, but someone who's achieved.
All right, that's it. Barbell squats, about to move on to some Nordic hamstring curls. I'll see y'all when we get there, man. Alright, y'all. We got 6 reps, Nordics, 4-second lower. We're gonna take our time, counterbalance all the quad action we've been doing today with some hamstring work. So let's get right into it, man. Here we go.
World-class levels of success with worse conditions than you currently have, which then means it's absolutely possible. And then the only thing that it takes to get there is work.
Control of your life. When I ruptured my Achilles, I knew the severity of the injury, and I didn't know if I was going to come back from it. Like, this is it. Like, my career could be over right now. I went home and I was just really angry. I worked so hard for us to get to the playoffs and to have a chance to win another championship, and then this happened.
All right, 1 set done. 30-second break. We're right back in it. All right, here you go. Last set of these Nordics, 6 reps. Nice and slow lower, man. Hamstrings are as important as the quads are, and been doing a lot of quad and front leg work. If you want to prevent yourself from getting injured, you got to make sure you focus on those hamstrings as well and counterbalance that out. That push-pull, it's like a yin and yang, man. So let's get with it.
So I had a lot of anger. Then from the anger, then I was sad. And then you say, what am I going to do now? I mean, it's an obsessiveness that comes along with it. You want things to be as perfect as they can be, understanding that nothing is ever perfect. But the challenge is try to get them as perfect as they can be. And what can you do? It's in your control. So control what you can.
You're not as good as Magic Johnson. You're not as good as Larry Bird. You're good, but you're not as good as those guys. I had to listen to all this. And that put so much wood on that fire that it kept me each and every day. I'm trying to become the best that I can.
It became personal with me.
Tough life, that's what life is. Life is gonna always be tough. But just remember, it's up to you.
All right, that's it for Nordics. We'll move on to some calf raises next. I'll see y'all when we get there. All right, y'all, we got these Smith machine calf raises, 4 sets of 6. So if you're gonna train vert, then you gotta make sure that you're working on calves and just your heel stability and heel resistance, because jumps is a lot of pressure on the calves and on the heels. So you want to make sure that the calves are strong so that way you can hold the load. So I got 240 on the bar here. We're just going to do 6 calf raises. We're going to take like a 30-second break in between each set. Let's get with it, man.
To carry on. Remember, you owe you something. Continue to believe that. We all have desires and dreams. Make your dream a reality.
You look for any kind of messages that people may say or do to get you motivated to play the highest level.
You have the power to lose the lead and still come back and win.
Get back up. If you don't get up, what?
One set done. I'm gonna take a 30-second break real quick, then get right back into it. All right, y'all, round number 2, 6 reps, let's get with it.
The count is at 9. You don't want it enough. I've had many rejections. I had many doors slammed in my face, but I didn't give up. I didn't quit, and neither should you.
I know you're bleeding, but get up. I know it hurt, but get up. I need you in this moment to get up and try again.
Every word I say, the sound of a comeback.
You have this innate ability.
2 sets done, 2 to go. All right, here go round number 3. Let's get with it, y'all.
This instinct on the inside that you can come back from anything.
Good times create weak people. Weak people create bad times. Bad times create strong people. Strong people create good times.
This comeback is personal because I owe it to myself.
It's like Muhammad Ali once said, he goes, it's hard to beat a guy when he's got his mind made up to win.
1 more set to go, y'all. 30-second break. We'll finish this last set. All right, y'all, last set coming right here. Let's finish this out.
And can't nobody stop me but me. That's how bad you gotta want it.
Tired don't mean nothing. Tired is only in the mind. You tell yourself you're tired, you're gonna be tired. I don't get tired.
I'm going to beat you. I'm going to let you know I beat you. I'm going to want you to reconsider your professional life choice.
My father who raised me, his thing was, son, you may not be the best, but leave everything on the floor. You put 100 and...
That's it, y'all. We out. All right, y'all, just finished that workout, and it was a good one, man. Everything that I did has a direct translation to jumping. Y'all saw I did a lot of pre-work to get warmed up, then did hand cleans, power cleans, pause squats, Nordics, calf raises. Like I said, my goal is to be flying. So everything that I'm doing is to produce power for my jumping style. Because like I said, I'm a 2-foot jumper. I need to produce power on that penultimate step. And so that's what we're gonna be focused on. And here in a few months, man, y'all are going to see me tomahawk jamming, man. I'm gonna be filming some hoop sessions. I'm gonna be filming my duck sessions, everything, man. So make sure y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know down below in the comments any other video ideas that y'all want me to do, and I'll be sure to put those out for you. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll catch y'all tomorrow on the next workout. We got weekly workouts all week, baby. But I'll catch y'all tomorrow. We up out of here, baby. Let's go.